Hello and happy Saturday, guys. It is February 1st. Woohoo, woohoo. Are you guys excited? Are you guys just amazed? Because January was a long year, right? I know, right? I've seen so many different gifts and memes, or called memes. There we go. Memes out there just talking about this 2025 year and how draining it has been in 1 month. And I fully agree. So if you feel any different, put that in the comments. If you feel the same, put that in the comments. Hey, can you let me know if you hear me up there when you go in there? Okay. All right. Hey, House of Echelon says I was thinking about you. How are you doing? I was just over here asking, how do you feel about this month of January? Has it felt like a long year? Or has it just felt like, I don't know, 2 weeks? Has it felt like a breeze? I'm not going to lie to you. Hey, sis, it has been an awesome and amazing blessing to make it to February. I know that we're going to make it beyond because we win, right? But, oh my God, come on. She said it felt like 10 years. Hi, Coach Play with an I. That's my husband, and I and not a Y. And I, anytime you're coming to a point in a stage of your life where you're like, I'm ready to work out. I'm ready for, hitting some nutritional goals that I need in my life. It's going to happen. And when it does, remember the name Coach Play with an I, because he will be your fitness instructor, your nutrition coach, and that's the only thing you can contact him about. Because I am his wife. I safeguard that. Okay, so I wish I could say I was playing. It felt like 10 years. Yes. And we still have a little bit longer to go. Thank you so much. He gave me the mic check on that. I'm telling you, this would not be possible without him, without my boys. They set up this whole studio space for me. Daddy started it off first. And anything that has to do with technology, I mean, he's like a whiz, my husband. He's a whiz at practically anything. If it's something that he doesn't know, he researches it and then he picks it up. My son says it's like the Matrix for us. He's like, this part when Trinity was like, getting the download, she's like, I got it. I think Tate gave her the download. That's definitely my husband. And I'm going to throw myself in the mix too. Okay. But yeah. When it comes to technology and everything, like he sets this all up. He lets me know if you guys are getting feedback, anything of that nature, static, something like that. So, round of applause. We're doing the round of applause. You were with me yesterday, then you caught it in that impromptu live about the round of applause. Round of applause. You didn't catch it, then go back and catch it about the round of applause. I bet you're going to be out somewhere. A meeting, public speaking event, church, a brunching, something, a concert. They're going to be like, give a round of applause. And before you know it, you're going to be doing this. A round of applause. Fun stuff. It's all about having fun, enjoying ourselves, and utilizing the precious skill of adult play therapy. So guys, that's what we're here to talk about today. We are talking about be ye passionate. Be passionate. Be passionate about the characters that you develop. I'm really looking forward to what 2025 has to offer for us as storytellers. I'm so serious right now. If you're a storyteller, if you're thinking about being a storyteller, 2025 is the time. I need to say that again. If you're a storyteller or you're thinking about being a storyteller, 2025 is the time. If you want to know, should I do this? This is your sign. If you already are a storyteller, this is your sign. Keep going. Study the environment that's around you, because all about you are characters that are waiting to be explored, developed, and designed and put out there. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being passionate about that which we put out there. So I do have some notes. I love notes, as you know. I'm a note taker. I love some notes. It keeps me organized. It keeps me on track. I enjoy it. That's just me. So I'm honestly glad that I wrote these in advance, because this has been a busy 2 weeks to this upcoming debut of our 2025 Adult Play Therapy podcast show. And your girl wrote the notes down, and I'm so glad, because I wasn't up all night trying to figure out what to write. So, all right, let's talk about this. We are adult play therapists, enthusiasts. We enjoy our dolls. We're doll collectors. We're doll enthusiasts, right? And we write these amazing stories. You guys have amazing stories. Like I've told you before, the whole reason for this show came about because here I was sitting at my phone reading these awesome stories. I'm talking about you, House of Echelon. And I was just like blown away. And it went from just being something that was fun to where it became part of my me time as a mom. Literally. It became part of my me time to just be able to sit down, chill, and find out what's happening next to this character and who's paired up with this person. And oh no, she didn't. And what did he just say? Is she pregnant? Like all these things, all these feelings and emotions. Because of the stories that you tell on your accounts. Okay? And I wanted to explore it deeper. I wanted to know, what is the story of the account holder? Who are you? Without being nosy. Okay? If you notice anytime, whenever I've had any conversations and chats with people, go back and listen. Hi, how are you? Montserrat dot Valbuena. Valbuena? I'm probably saying that totally horrible, and I apologize. Okay? As my mother-in-law says, charge my mind and not my heart. And it's not my intention at all to say your name incorrect. So I apologize, but thank you for joining. So, guys, it was the stories that you told and that you tell that motivated me to want to know who you are. What got you interested in storytelling? What got you interested in photography or whatever kind of play that you do? Correct? And if you go back, like I said, and listen to any of the podcasts that I've done, that one walk was just kind of getting in the way. You're getting in. Hey, baby girl! Oh, gee! Girl, I've been wondering, how are you doing? I hadn't seen you in a while. So glad to see that you joined. Hope that the holidays are treating you well as this long year of January. As my sis said, it felt like 10 years. So I agree. But guys, then back into this. Don't ask personal questions. I'm not going to ask you, where do you work at? I'm not going to ask you anything that pertains to your personal life. Whenever I have any conversations with anyone that is a creative or a creator or a play therapist, play enthusiast, I always stick to the play. Because I want to know, what got you involved? How did you decide, make the conscious, intentional decision to play as an adult? And then furthermore, to encourage other people to join in your play and to become part of your story. Now, if someone wants to share personal information and part of their life story and their journey, that's fine. I'm comfortable with it. I'm cool with it. As I said, you can always check out those previous conversations and chats and see that. But it was the story of who you are as a storyteller. If you're taking fashion photos, those photos still tell a story. Why? What made you decide that? And that's what started this whole podcast. As some of you may know, I have a background in psychology and social work and counseling. So the question of why is always very big to me. Even as a kid, it's like, why are we here? What is our purpose? Why did we do that? Why did he do that? Why did I do that? Why is so big for me? And I have not growing out of that. So you could kind of like say, maybe that's my inner child just kind of, doing its own thing. Just like, I guess this lock is like, why do I have to be put up? Why can't I just roam free? So why is a very big deal to me. And I imagine when we're creating characters, our characters ask, why am I existing in your world? And one of the key things that we have to be mindful of is being passionate about why we created them. And this is an interactive live. You want to talk, you want to chat, I don't mind. You want to click in, I don't mind. You want to write down something in the comments, I'm going to respond. So House of Echelon said, you already know we've talked in your live before. Yes, we have, sis. And I thank you for that. In fact, House of Echelon was one of my very first lives. I want to say we had this chat about like chat number 3. Like it was that early on Chat number 3 of the very first season. If we want to break this down to seasons and episodes, you were like episode 3 of season 1. And I still am so very grateful because you trusted me to conversate with you about something that's very delicate, very private. When we talk about play and we talk about our own time to be able to collect and our special hobby, it's not always something that we just want to broadcast, and you didn't know what direction I was going to come from it, and you did that. You allowed me to be able to enter into your world and talk to you, and I appreciate that. You said it was an outlet to manage my anxiety and depression. I found this community and fell in love. Sis, isn't that the truth? I am going back and forth and seeing different people comment and different, posts and etc., and they're like, this is going on in the environment and the atmosphere, and this is going on, and I'm just I can't take it anymore. It's too stifling. So I'm not going to be a part of this community or this social media. And I don't think it's so much of what is being said by other doll enthusiasts and other storytellers, as much as it is that when we take on being a storyteller, when we take on photographing something that's inanimate, we also are taking on the emotions of the world. We are truly empaths of society. So it's very easy to be burdened with the strain and the stress and the headache and the burden and the pain and the agony and the strife of what's going on around us, even if we're not being directly hit. Those indirect hits hurt just as much, right? And it can make you feel burdened. It can make you feel tired. It can make you feel anxious. It can make you feel depressed. And then you can lose out on what gives you the energy that you need and the motivation that you need to keep pressing on. Okay? Of course, we have the Word of God for some of us who are believers. And even with that, though, you still need community. We still need contact with each other. We still need community. So I love the factor being that my sister right here said it was an outlet to manage my anxiety and depression. And I found this community and fell in love. Don't forget who you fall in love with. Don't forget the hobby that's brought you joy and that allowed you to know what self-love is. Because when we are interacting with our dolls, when we're telling a story, when we're writing a book, whatever your special hobby is or interest, there's this self-love that exudes from you. And whenever we lose contact with the hobby or what we enjoy, we also lose parts and pieces of loving ourselves. So I love that you said that. Remember always, this hobby is your love, your interest. Don't lose focus with it and don't lose contact with it because of what's going out in the waves of the world. I think if we can remember I'm an empath, when things are going on, it's going to indirectly yet directly affect me, and I have to intentionally focus my energy on self-healing through the things that I love. Being passionate about the things that I love. So thank you so much for saying that. Hi, Nanolandia55. Thank you for joining Nikki's Dollsy World. Hey, sis, how are you? Thank you for joining. And House of Akalon said, and you made it easy to do so. I thank you. Mwah! Thank you. I appreciate you. Paranormal Doll 31. No, I'm so sorry. Panama Doll _ 31. Gotcha. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So guys, we're talking about being passionate about the characters that we develop. I think it's very easy as storytellers to read what someone else has, to go on someone else's account, because now we're dealing with the internet, right? We're on social media. We don't have to go to the bookstore. We don't have to go out to the library. It's as easy as just swiping up or swiping left or swiping right. And we see someone else's story. And in our cases, as storytellers who are also doll collectors, who are also miniaturists, who are also building dioramas, we see it and we can get a little bit jealous. Not intentionally. Sometimes the people who have very little jealousy in their heart will see something and be like, but I don't write like that. I don't draw like that. I don't paint like that. My characters aren't shining like that. I don't have an outfit for my character like that. How did she build that diorama? I'm not able to build it like that. I'm not that crafty. And before we know it, we're losing contact with the very thing that we are interested in. And thusly, we are losing the passion and the fervor that we had initially with our doll character, or any character that we're building. Be it a rabbit character or a character that you have on your laptop that you're writing, or you have a notebook like I do right here and you're writing about a character or characters, we can lose focus because we see what other people are doing. And I'm raising up my hand because I'm one of them. If you're one of them, raise that hand up. Put that raise hand emoji because I know I'm not alone. I'm about to sip my iced coffee over here my hubby made, and it tastes good. We're going to run on a little bit of caffeine. All right, so if it's you, raise your hand. I got my hand up. It's very, very easy to see what other people are doing and lose focus, lose contact of who you are in the process. I'm praying that this live, this conversation, this chat, this podcast will encourage you to keep moving forward and to keep building and connecting with the characters that you build. Now I'm going to read my notes here. My note says if you're going into storyline development, you want to develop a friendship or a relationship with the characters you create. So I'm just going to give a little backstory to how this conversation about be passionate about your characters even came about. I have a soul sister of mine, treasure and adore. We're also into dolls. And I'm leaving her this voice note a couple of weeks ago. And I happened to be chatting about my dolls. And in particular, I was chatting about this guy at the time, Mr. Kai. He hasn't been in the story for quite some time. Oh, excuse me. And coffee. God damn it. Alright, so he hasn't been in the story in quite some time. And Kai is such a fun character to write for. He's the surfer. He's got the whole, stereotypical California surf boy persona. Okay, surfs up, and there are a bunch of Barneys over there, and I actually had to look up the culture and lingo of what it is to be the stereotypical surf dude kind of person, dudette, babes. How would that person speak? How does that person present themselves? How does this person carry themselves? Research, which we've spoken about in previous podcast chats. It's really important to research characters. Even if you make a character that's similar to you, research that character by researching yourself. Look deeper into yourself. Study yourself. Find out why you do some of the things you do. Why you say some of the things you do. Not so much as changing who you are, but so that you can develop that character even more. All those small nuances and flaws and inconsistencies that make you who you are. You want to be able to map that and chart that into who your character is to become. So I studied up on him, and I'm still studying up on him, but in studying, I found myself really enjoying the process of building him and creating him and developing him. And then, of course, the story trailed forward and really went more so in the direction of Heidi and her perspective of life and her journey in life. And when you are a storyteller, you really have to make that decision of whose story are you going to follow. Are you going to follow your main character, your primary protagonist? Are you going to follow the protagonist's spouse or siblings or friends? Whose story are you going to take on for your audience to follow? In the same hand, you may make a decision, especially if you're writing a book, but in this case with our dolls, you may make a decision to simultaneously show what's going on in one character's life and what's going on in the other character's life. But you do have to make these very conscious decisions of whose storyline you're going to follow so that your audience can grasp the fullness of who that character is. It's not always a very easy decision to make. You want to make sure that you're not losing your audience by having too many characters for them to follow through on that journey of life. In the same hand, you don't want to just completely ignore what a character is going through in their life as well, especially whenever they part ways. And in this case, Kai and Heidi did part ways. And sometimes people do make a decision, and movies make a decision to just go ahead and completely ignore the other character and never showcase them again. But that doesn't mean that your audience doesn't wonder what happened. In this case, as the writer, as the storyteller, I wondered in my mind, what happened to Kai? And I wasn't the only one, because one of my number one fans of my Sacred Pair community happens to be my husband. And he would ask me, he's like, where's Kai? Where's Kai? Now, as far as like number one fan of Reggie and Heidi, I would say that's my mom. Because she just got done yesterday, like, yeah, you can't get rid of them. I want to see them get back together. So, but when it comes to Kai, like, my husband is rooting for Kai. And he was just like, when are you going to put him back in there? You know, and in my own mind, I was like, I really don't want to get rid of Kai. I like Kai. And every once in a while, I would throw in a little nugget about him. And that was it. So, let's go back to this conversation I have with a doll sis of mine. I'm leaving her a voice note, and I'm talking about my update with my story. That's the beautiful thing about our community. Like when you said, House of Echelon, about being able to find our tribe in so many ways, to be able to find the people that we relate to and our family. That's what makes us so beautiful. Because now I'm able to have conversations with other people through voice note or on the phone or right here through this chat or when we meet each other face to face, and we can talk about dolls. We can talk about writing. We can talk about our dioramas and our miniatures and 1/6 scale everything, which is not something I can do with everyone else. People outside of the community are not going to understand that type of conversation. They're probably going to wonder, what are you talking about? Why is this such a big deal? But we can do that with each other because we relate to each other. We have a common basis of relating. We are united through play. Oh, let's write that down. Let's write that down. We are united through play. And that's something no one can take from us. I may put that quote at the top of the caption. Yes, yes. Panama Doll _13 said yes. Yes, we are related through, we are united through play. So I left her a message. I'm updating her about my doll story and letting her know that Kai is entering back into the story. And I was so excited because I enjoyed writing for him. And that I felt like I had a friendship or a relationship, not a romantic relationship, but just an interactive relationship with this character that I created. And I missed him. I missed writing for him. I missed knowing what the next steps were that this character was going to do. I missed his language. I missed studying up on his culture and his background and learning more about his family and his familial stance. I wanted an update as well as the writer. And in leaving her this voice note, that's when the idea sparked, like, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. So that's the long story of the origin of today's conversation about Be Ye Passionate. So if you're going to go into storyline development, you want to develop a friendship or relationship with the characters that you create. Develop characters where you love them, where you hate them, and where you love to hate them. Because whatever energy that you put out in the development of your characters, guess what? Your audience, we're going to feel that. I'm a member of your audience. When I read your stories, I become a member of your audience. And I feel that energy. I can feel, literally, I can feel whenever you have a character that you are passionate about, that you just hands down love because of the way that you take care of them in the story, the way that you handle them, the way that you have the other cast members, the other characters in the story handle them. I can feel the energy of how much you adore and love that character. On the other hand, a character that you just really don't care about, that you just don't like, that you kind of hate, that you yourself as the writer detest, but you know that that character adds flavor to your story. I can feel that. And when you have a character that you can't stand, but you adore him so much, they may be an antagonist, the villain of the storyline. Right? I can feel that energy too, where you're just like, this character is so bad, but I love him. I love what energy that they bring to the story. And I have to keep them. Because a lot of times, and if you guys have picked up my book, which my book is over there, if you picked up the book, The Likeable Villain, I need to grab it. Snap. I don't want to get up because I'm kind of like, I'm landlocked over here. But The Likeable Villain, in that book, I discuss. This is not me, trying to throw out something, but I'm trying to put this out there for all of our storytellers. I discuss about the importance of a villain. That your story is only as strong as your villain. And it doesn't go for all stories. If you have a story where everything's just all roses and daisies and you don't have a villain, okay, fine. But if you have anything that has to do with climax and that has to do with complications and obstacles and there's a villain, guess what? Your storyline is only as strong as that villain. So the stronger you make the villain, the more that you make that villain detestable but yet likable, charming, has good sides to them. Tell you what, the more that you as the storyteller bond to that character, to where you have to have them in the story no matter what, because they move your story along. So it was some time ago, probably about 2 years ago, we had this conversation and we talked about a character-driven story compared to a plot-driven story. So if you have a villain that's very, very strong in your storyline, that's putting out all this force, they are the driving force that pushes the story forward. And each step that they takes, okay, that was grammatically incorrect. Each step that they take in your storyline is literally going to push and propel that story forward. Did you feel that push? I did. Push and propel that story forward. Okay. Panama Doll _31 said, this is good information. My dolls are compartmentalized in families. Wife, husband, and children. I jump from story to story, so I need to organize my characters. Well, you know what? I'm so grateful and thankful that this information is helping you. I would say definitely go back and re-examine. But it doesn't mean that you need to do a complete overhaul. You take the direction that you need. It could be definitely that your story is already going in the right direction, and that you've been doing things in the proper fashion, but now maybe you want to add in another character that mixes things up, or maybe you want to switch up a little bit with the story for one of the families. I don't know, but you have to be able to really sort that out yourself. But it doesn't mean that what you've been doing is incorrect in any which way. Any which way. Oh, forgive me here. Kukara-Rikian. Like I said earlier, my mother-in-law says, charge my mind and not my heart. It's not intentional if I said it incorrect, so please forgive me. You are so beautiful. Oh, thank you. Blessings. Thank you so much. Isn't she inside it out? House of Echelon, you are too sweet, queen. Thank you. That is why your stories are so capturing. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so very much. I appreciate that. If you find the story capturing, that blesses me. Of course, and I'm glad that you said that, because the reality is that some of us may find a story capturing or captivating, and if for someone else who reads that same storyline, they go, it's okay, it's okay. And if you have someone who says, your story's just okay, that's okay, because we all have individual views and different perspectives, and one storyline works for someone, and then for someone else it doesn't. And guess what? That's what makes this whole thing with social media so awesome, because they can just scroll and go to another one. That's what I say. If it doesn't pertain to you, you don't like it, you're not into it, go to the next one. It always surprises me. This is just a little, little rant I'm going to go on, a little quick tangent, but it always surprises me to see different people who may be adults or could be bots, I don't know, and they go underneath our posts as doll collectors, and they say these ratchet things such as like, you're an adult, what are you doing still playing? Or, this is dumb, I can't believe that you're doing this. And I'm like, wow. Now, I personally have not had an encounter with that, praise God. But even if I did, I had one person that said something that was just like off filter. I was like, And I can't remember what it was. I think it was just inappropriate. And so I deleted it. And that's what I want to put out here. If someone says something in your story, in your comments, or they DM you and it's inappropriate, delete that thing. You don't have to receive that level of energy. Let them keep that energy themselves. In fact, just be like Boomerang. You keep that energy right back to yourself. Delete that off of your page. Erase it out of your mind. That's obviously a very sad, miserable person who has not found themselves, who's trying to do everything that the masses are doing, and they are lonely. And we're trying to keep this, G-rated PG, so I'm not going to say anything else, but that don't let that get to you. Don't let that get to you. These are people who have not found out who they are, and they don't know how to be able to enjoy themselves at all. And the beautiful thing is, we have. We win. We found out how to enjoy ourselves, how to have fun. And so that's what matters. You let them go ahead, say their piece. Okay, I'm sorry that's how you feel. I'm sorry that's how you feel. Because we are going to enjoy our life. When someone said to me in person, "You're too old for this," I told her to get out of my dorm room, or out of my doll room. Isn't that true? Absolutely. Absolutely. House of Echelon responded, yes, get out. Get on out. We do not want that type of energy in this space. This is a positive energy space. This is all about love and enjoyment. And if you're not able to appreciate this level of happiness and joy, then this is not for you. And it's not for me to force it on you. But when it comes to social media, honey, child, you don't like it? Scroll. Go to the next thing. Why are you using up time and energy to type your message to me? And then just for me to delete it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. That's all I have to say. You spent more time writing that down than what it took me to delete that message. I will delete a message in a heartbeat. I will. I surely will. If it does not pertain to, being able to benefit my energy. And I don't mean that like in a rude way, but just as far as like it has no positive intention, no love, no energy, no joy. I am not keeping it on there. I am not keeping it on there. When someone DMs me something that's inappropriate, knowing I'm a married woman, I delete that. I delete that. I do not keep that. Also, that I had a slipper with her name on it. What? Oh, wow. So, yes. We're going to continue on in our joy and our happiness. That was just a little side rant to encourage you about being passionate. We're going to round this right back to our topic. About being passionate about your time. Being passionate about your hobby. Being passionate about the characters that you create. So, we are passionate because we believe that passion comes from this inner love from our inner child. Our passion comes from this inner love from our inner child. So whenever we connect to our inner child, we allow that inner child to speak and to explore and to rediscover life through our adult beings. This just got deep. This just got deep. And it's not that inner child that stomps and throws tantrum and gets mad and wants things their way. No, the inner child that we have is this inner child that just wants to have peace, hug trees, have fun, and be able to really relish the moment of joy and presence. That's the inner child that each and every one of us has, but we don't always get a chance to connect with. We don't get a chance to connect with this inner child because of stress, responsibilities, the ways and waywardness of the world, because of rules, because of policies, because of society, because of the list goes on and on and on. So we don't get a chance to really connect with who we are and who we identify with. But whenever we come back to this place, our hobbies, whenever we come to a place where we are creating characters, where we are crocheting, where we're doing puzzles, where we're, whatever your choice of hobby is, and our hobbies can change. Our hobbies can change in a week. We can do dolls one day, You can turn around and crochet on another day. You can turn around and play basketball the next day. You can turn and do this every day. And then the following week, do it all over again. That was on Monday. And this on. Your hobbies do not have to remain stagnant or just pertain to one concept and idea. You can definitely switch up. And it's all about being able to allow that inner child to have fun, to be able to teach us in our adulthood how to be able to enjoy ourselves. There's something that my husband said a long time ago, and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm pretty sure he won't mind me saying it. He said enjoy should actually be spelled I-N-J-O-Y. I-N-J-O-Y instead of E-N-J-O-Y. Why? He said because we should be inside of joy. I call my husband the guru. He always has something so wise to say. Always. And he said because we should be living inside of joy. And I fully agree. We need to be involved in joy. We need to be enveloped inside of joy. And that's what our hobby allows us to do. When you're building and constructing these characters, make them concrete for you. Make them concrete for you. Passion comes from us enjoying the characters that we create. Enjoy writing for your characters. Enjoy the layering that each character brings in your storyline. The fun personalities, the victim personalities, the hopeless romantic personalities, the villain personalities, the creative personalities, the stern, disciplined personalities. The list goes on and on. Enjoy them all. But how do I create all these different personalities? By studying yourself. Studying yourself. None of us are one-dimensional. None of us. I get on here, I talk to you guys, I present myself to you, but the truth is you just see this one side of me. You're not able to see the wife side of me. You're not able to see the mom side of me. You're not able to see the homeschool educator side of me or school teacher side of me, because I was a school teacher prior to being able to have the privilege to teach my children at home. You're not able to see the consular side of me. Maybe to a certain degree you do. You're not able to see the minister side of me. You're not able to see the angry side of me. You're not able to see the sad, depressed side of me. You're not able to see the anxious side of me. You're not able to see the unprofessional, quirky side of me. Right? And the more we have these chats, I'm pretty sure you've seen some silly stuff that I've said or done. And you're like, oh, okay, she has a fun, loving side. But there's so many sides of us. When I was out there in the world before I came to Christ, honey, I was a humdinger. I was a full-on humdinger. Full-on. And what do they say in the church? If it hadn't been for Christ, if it hadn't been for Jesus, right? Because I was. Let me check my time here, because we're going to be ending this soon. So I was quite an individual. And I believe that when we're constructing characters, if we can kind of examine ourselves, if you're a calm person right now, you're a peaceful person, you choose peace over violence, that's beautiful. But you have to remember a time when you chose violence over peace. When you were quick to get in someone's face and twist your head and put your finger in someone's face to say what you felt and what you meant. You have to remember the times when you didn't mind going out to the club and jamming into 4, 5, 6 in the morning. You have to remember the time when juggling two different, relationships at one time didn't bother you. You have to remember the time whenever someone took you to somewhere like a fast food restaurant, you turned up your nose and said, I do not eat this on a date. Why do I say all this? I say this because I have literally, just by going through different phases of my own personal life, I have constructed 5 different characters. A snooty, snotty character, a party girl character, one with a short temper that'll get up in your face in a heartbeat, another one that can't be in a single monogamous relationship to save her life because she's got to have all these other relationships. Examine yourself to be able to produce characters that you're passionate about. I hope that makes sense. Let me go to these comments right here. Oh, we got some comments. I love it. Okay. People do that because they are too freaking jealous of you and your talent. That is true. That is very, very true. That is very, very true. I'm 63 and I know how hard it was to get to this stage of my life. I want to enjoy it my way and with my dolls. Come on now. You are so right. I have a mom's side, wife's side, godmother's side, because that girl does and sees things my way without my knowing it was happening. I agree with you so much. Hi, Mel Fetch 200. Thank you so much for joining. So we need to be able to examine all these different sides of us. And then once we do that and we separate that side of who we are. So if I look at the fact of being that I used to go out to the club and I loved it. What else was I doing? Well, I was in school and I was working one job and then sometimes two jobs. Like if that one job was not enough, you go and get the second job because you get paid those bills. So I was extremely busy. When I say I was in school, I was an undergraduate. So I'm working the two jobs at times in college and going out late at night to club. That right there is already a character. That's already the premise or the foundation of the character. Now I need to layer on some things about her personality-wise. Well, let's say I don't just want to make a complete copy of myself. But let's say that I had other friends, which I did, who were around me. I can now look at them and see what was it about them that I could kind of maybe draw on for myself. Okay, well, I had a character who I had a friend that had crutches. Okay, can I add that in? I had a friend of mine that was very, very, very snooty. Very, 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 very snooty. And she came from another country. Well, maybe I can make this character be from another country and she's very, 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 very snooty. Okay? And then I had certain friends that, oh my goodness, they would manipulate a situation and lie and create their own story from it if they knew that they were going to benefit from it, even when they weren't going to benefit from it. I can now add that onto my character. So now I'm drawing from other resources. I'm drawing. And then maybe there's people who weren't friends of mine, but I observed them. I people watched. And I can now add in parts of their personality, or this person has this kind of accent and I hear that for this character and I can put that in there. Or someone who I knew who was very, very clumsy, I can put that in there. Maybe she's very clumsy as well. So I can add this all in. So I'm not just making a complete clone of myself or a clone of someone else. You gotta watch that. You gotta watch that. You don't want to get sued. But I am now creating and layering this whole character. And the more layers that I give this character, the more personality and dysfunction. Where did dysfunction come from? Well, of course, family relationships, of course. You know how much I love family dynamics. I love family dynamics because it really does set up a roadmap for how, especially the beginning of our life is. And if we do not assess it early on, we can literally live with these dysfunctions throughout our whole life. And I'm not saying all families are that way, but believe me, there is no fully functioning, healthy family out there. There is always something that's going on. And that's just the reality. Alright, that's just the reality. That there is some type of dysfunction. Maybe someone had parents that was way too stern and they say, you know what, I'm going to be gentle and I'm not going to be stern. And now their kid runs over them. And to the outside world, they have a very beautiful bond and relationship. But the reality is, that kid knows how to get over. Because the parents dealt with guilt from having parents that were too stern with them and they didn't want to do it. That right there can be part of your character story. So you want to spend time on really constructing a strong foundation for the character and their storyline. Why? Because the more energy and the more that you put into making this character tangible and concrete, the more you're going to fall in love with them. The more you're going to be passionate about them. The more that you're going to feel that you have a friendship and a relationship with them. And you're going to enjoy the writing process of writing for them. You're not just going to be writing down the character and what you think they're going to do, you will actually get to a point where you can hear the character speak what they are doing and what they are saying and who they're hanging with. You'll be able to do that because you made them tangible. You made them concrete. You layered on their personality. An example would be, has anyone had a 7-layer salad? Love me some 7-layer salad. 7-layer salad. You know, after you do, we're just going to assume I cook from scratch every meal. Except for if like my kids are making like oatmeal or sandwiches, then that's their thing. But right here, I've been cooking for a very long time. Since, oh gosh, like single digits of growing up. It was just my mom and I. My mom was like, you're going to have to make your food. So she taught me how to cook early on. And then she would test me over the summer with meals to be like, you know, with lasagna. Like I had to bake it from, you know, beginning to end and had to taste well. If it didn't, then I had to redo it again before the end of that summer. So I'm very grateful for those tests. It didn't feel good at the time, but it has helped a lot. So let's get back to the 7-layer salad. Everything's chopped up. Okay, we're going to assume everything's chopped up. It's in its own bowls. And now we have the primary bowl that we're going to put our salad in. Alright, so I don't know how you like your 7-layer salad, but we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to put our lettuce and spread it out even. It's 1 layer. We're going to take the spinach, pour that on there, layer it. Alright, that's 2 layers. We're going to get our bowl of cheese over here. We'll get cheddar cheese. Pour it on there. 3rd layer. Spread that. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put this grilled chicken, this chopped grilled chicken on top. 4th layer. Spread that. Alright, now, I personally love me some ranch dressing. I'm not able to eat it as much because, as some of you may know, I've talked about the gallbladder situation, so I have to be very careful about creams and all this other stuff. But for the purpose of imagination, we're going to go ahead and pour that cream right there. Alright, yeah. 5th layer. That counts, especially the amount of ranch we just put right there. Okay, now we're going to take some tomatoes. Those little cherry tomatoes. Cut them in half. Yeah. That's our 6th layer. Alright. Now we're going to put some oranges. Which fruit and salad is so good. That's our 7th layer. But let's just go a little bit more on top. We're going to put some Monterey Jack cheese shredded. On top. Now we're going to take, we're in bonus round. We're like 8th round. Now we're going to take this dressing. We're going to put some balsamic on it. Balsamic vinaigrette. I want this right now, y'all. It is so good sounding. And now we have some chopped shrimp. Chopped grilled shrimp. We're going to put that on top. Like we are on what, our 9th layer or 10th layer. But we're almost done. We're going to take these chopped pineapple and put it on top. Let's get those walnuts because you gotta have something, you know, crunchy. Put the walnuts, spread it. Put these croutons. And let's put another layer of cheese. We're gonna go for Parmesan. So we got some cheddar, some Monterey Jack, and now we're about to put this Parmesan. How many people are going, girl, me too. I'm wanting some salad, and we're just gonna top it off with ranch again. I think we're on like the 11th layer. We went top. You know why we went over? And let's just take our... Hey, I gotta get a bite of this pretend salad. But we're gonna dip that salad, that fork, all the way down into that bowl. All the way back down to the lettuce. I could have put more lettuce, but that's okay. And and put this down. I play pretend all the time. I got a lot of kids. We have a 3-year-old all the way to a 16-year-old. We have 10 kids. So pretend is real. And you can get full. You can get full off of pretend food. I don't care what they say. It's real. It's real. By the time I get done making food and I'm wanting to eat, the kids have given me so much of their pretend food from their little kitchenette. I am full. So I'm not going to eat a lot of that salad that we just made together because I still have to eat today. I don't want to get full. But that salad tastes good. And you know what happened? We went over 7 layers because it started to feel good. And we wanted to add in more. We had the chicken and we had the salad. We could have added in some sliced ham. But, you know, we could have added in all this stuff. It was good. And that's what you want to do with your characters. You want to have this base. But then you want to add in a little bit more. They go to work. That's one base. They go to school. That's another base. They're married. That's another base. They have issues with their mom. That's another base. They have a good relationship with their dad. That's another base. They're estranged from their family. The rest of the family, that's another base. They work this job, but yet they really don't want to be there because they want to design clothes instead. That's another base. They have a really good friend. That's another base. But that friend's jealous of them, can't stand them, and doesn't really say because they're jealous. That's another base. So we create these layers. And then maybe this character comes from like a whole nother land, a whole nother country, a whole nother continent that we have to now study. And then in studying it, studying about this character will actually draw us closer to who this character is. I know from experience, not only from the different characters that I've written about, but especially with this character, Kai. I feel that in writing for Kai, it really caused me to have to go outside of myself in a different way and drew me even closer to the character and made him more tangible, more real, and really made me advocate to myself as a storyteller to put him back into the story. So that's all I'm saying. Be ye passionate about the characters that you create. Characters that you create that are layered will add texture to your storyline, vibrancy to your storyline, quality to your story, substance, consistency, distinction, uniqueness, complexity, humor, tone, spirit, ethos, ambiance. The list could go on and on of what you having a variety of different characters that are now concrete and tangible will add to the story that you create. I'm going to go back to these comments before we end this conversation. I feel good about this. I thank you for being with me. So I had to be the woman I want her to be. I agree. I know. I understand that. My mom had 9 of us. What? We have 10. She was a stay-at-home mom. I saw that it wasn't easy. Everything you said right there. Yes. So we have 10, and I am staying at home, and I am a homeschool mom, and still writing as an indie author, and stay-at-home wife. And no, it's not easy. It's not easy. In fact, once we end this live, I got to get my husband's, he already got his coffee, but I got to make his breakfast. I got to get stuff going for his lunch before he goes to work. So it's like, and then also, making sure that the kids are that they have what they need for their schedule today. So, yeah, my heart and my thoughts and prayers are with your mom, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And I think sometimes people think that it is. My husband, of course, he understands it. My husband, my mother, other people I speak to, they're like, you have one of the hardest jobs of all, because you have to manage all these different people's personalities who came from you, who are not like you. Talk about writing and building characters. If you have any children, grandchildren, observe those little creatures from up above, those love stars, because they are quite interesting. In good ways and in bad ways. And you can really develop a lot of understanding about characters and personalities and quirks and just traits and human traits from the children that are in your atmosphere, children that are your nieces or nephews. Really observe them, because a lot of times if those type of personalities are not checked, if they do not evolve, they will become adults doing the same thing. That's not always good. It's okay when you're 6 or 9, but now when you get older than that. I draw from my siblings. My dolls will be crazy. I want some of that salad. Isn't that right? Well, Jay Christensen 17, thank you so much for joining. Guys, I've had a blast. I really enjoyed myself with you. It's 11:05. We need to go ahead and clock on out. But I appreciate you guys being with me for the first debut of 2025 Adult Play Podcast Show. As I said yesterday during the impromptu live chat that I had with you guys, 2025 is going to offer some amazing projects. For one thing, we are going to have another doll creator come on this show in order to talk to us about life and life experiences, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a project that's in the making. And also, still carrying on the same chats and conversations that we did that has made us who we are right now, right? And if you guys know anyone, even yourself, and you would like to be presented on the Adult Play Therapy podcast show, I would love to have you. So just send me a DM and we will go from there as far as being able to get your story out about why play is important to you. Also, we're going to be expanding and opening the Adult Play Therapy hashtag because we want everyone to know that adult play is normal and it's okay and it's beautiful and awesome. If you don't get it, that's okay too. Not everybody's going to understand it. And last but not least, for the month of February, we are going to be having the Melanin Music Month. Melanin Music Month. Because I love music. I love dance. I did say during the podcast yesterday that we're going to be starting a new series. Still will have Heidi and Reggie involved in the storyline because they are one of my primary castmates and are just cast members. And I love them. Please forgive me. Got a little mucus going on. It's this weather. But anyways, they are my primary cast members. So they are not going anywhere. But I am starting a new series because I love music. Music and dance is something that's very important to me. I have a history of being a dance coordinator. So does my husband. And we didn't actually do dance choreography together because we didn't know each other at the time. But we did that in our lives separately before knowing one another. And dance choreography is something that's very important to me. But music is my soul and heartbeat. And so I want to be able to relate that with my dolls. So look forward to that flyer as well as just what this year has to offer with music and dolls and enjoyment and fun. And you guys have fun. You enjoy your play. As I always love to say, and this is not my original line at all, as some of you may know, I love me some Bob Ross. He helped me to really take hold of being creative. And he helped to fire my love for art and painting and drawing, which is something that I do on the side. And my children, or I should say our children, oh my gosh, they are all so amazing as artists. They do a lot of things that's amazing. Writing skills, just like I could brag on them all day. But Bob Ross said that anyone could paint. And what I say is anyone can playwright. So sweet, beautiful souls, you enjoy your play because anyone can playwright. Happy Saturday. Thank you so much for being with me. Be ye passionate about your characters that you create. Until next time. Bye-bye.